bad place on the second floor. And the reason he was there is because he worked at the Hotel London, which was only 2 blocks east.
Okay.
And Dad lived there because he was a bellhop.
Grandpa was a bellhop? Really? At a fancy hotel?
Yeah, the Hotel London, that was the biggest place in London area.
Yeah, I remember reading about it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Grandpa was, okay, I'm just trying to assimilate all of this information. Grandpa was a bellhop.
Yeah, my dad. Yeah.
And your grandpa moved in with you when he and his wife separated. So your grandpa.
Yeah, I don't know when it happened. All I remember is I was old enough to notice that he was living with us.
Oh, okay. So like basically since you were born, he lived with you.
Yeah, I was a real young kid there then.
So where did she live? Did you ever see her?
Grade 1 to grade 6, I'd be up to 12 years old.
So, did you ever see your grandma?
Yeah, she lived up a little further north in London and had all the girls.
Okay.
Mildred and then Rita and Kay and all of them.
Right.
And then the 2 youngest boys, John and Gerald.
So, and did she live in an apartment?
No, they rented a house.
Okay.
About 2 or 3 different places. The first one I remember is at St. George and Grosvenor.
Okay.
And they lived on the main floor. Dad moved to the second floor when she moved in. And after that, I think Grandma and the women, most of the family, moved over a place a little further east on Grosvenor. And
Was this before you were on the house on Clark Road?
Hmm?
Was this before you were in the house on Clark Road?
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, I didn't know that either. I just assumed you grew up in that house.
No, we...
My whole world is getting reordered in the space of 20 minutes.
As I said, St. George and Grosvenor is what they call the first home.
Okay.
And Dad was on the second floor, then he moved downtown with us, as the family, on Dundas Street, and then we moved to the east end of Dundas Street in front of McCormick's. And then after that, we went to Clark Road, and that's when he bought the house.
So, were he and Grandma always separated? Sort of?
They never got back together, and I think he passed away first, and then she passed away.
Your grandpa and your grandma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, were my grandpa and grandma always separated? Because since as little as I can remember,
They never got
he lived in the basement and she lived upstairs.
Well, that was just living. It's like some of them, they say they can't sleep in the same bed together.
Right, but it's not like they had separate bedrooms. Like, he had a kitchen and a living room and a television and a kitchen table, and she had a dining room table and a kitchen and a living room, and then they both had separate bedrooms. Like, they functionally...
3 bedrooms up there.
And I don't remember ever seeing him upstairs. Every memory I have of him is in that damn kitchen,
He was up there cooking dinners.
Really?
Oh, I would say 2 or 3 times a week minimum. Well, when he wasn't working the shift.
Right.
And Mom took care of the rest of it.
And so that's when he was working at the hospital.
Huh?
That's when he was working at the hospital, doing the shifts.
Even before that.
So what was he doing shifts before that?
Worked at Kelvinator for almost 30 years before it closed down.
What was he doing
at factory?
Yeah, well, I knew he had some sort of manual job because that's how he lost the fingers. Is that where he lost the fingers?
Yeah, at the beginning of working there, right around the war, he was working on a cutting machine with a steel, and it didn't have the proper safety machine down. Cut the 3 fingers at the knuckle. He was off for a while with that.
Yeah.
It kept him from going into the Army, and he continued to work there, huh?
Okay.
Continued to work there until it closed. He was supervisor, lead hand at the back plant, and that's where they started the punching of the steel, not the cutting. He closed the place down.
And then he went to work at the hospital?
Basically retired, yeah, but then he went to the hospital and worked in dietary for a number of years.
I thought he was a janitor or something.
No, in the kitchen, he worked
Was
in
it
the
Uncle
dietary.
Paul who was in the custodial? Somebody was in custodial. Were they not?
Well, Paul, he started working at the hospital, but as a dock operator, dock op supervisor.
Okay.
Receives, shipping and receiving at the hospital. And he started at St. Joe's, and then I think he spent a short time down at the Vic Hospital, and then ended up at the University Hospital before he got cancer and he had to quit.
I remember.
Yep.
So, and your whole Irish Catholic family was okay with the fact that these people, your grandma and grandpa, were living in separate houses.
Yep.
As long as they didn't divorce, then it wasn't against Catholic law.
Well, John did the same thing with Sylvia.
Okay, who's John and Sylvia?
Well, John was the second youngest boy
In your dad's family.
our dad's family.
Okay.
And let's put it this way, he drank a lot. And because of that, Sylvia said, I don't want any more of this. They couldn't divorce because of the Catholic religion, so they separated. And that's usually the standard with a Catholic group until, when was it? 20 years ago? 15, 20 years ago?
Wow. I had no
You can
idea.
get it annulled if you don't consummate it.
Yeah,
if you have.
that I knew.
If you have, it's separation.
So did your grandpa live with you the whole time until he died?
Yeah, basically.
And you said he died when you were 12?
I was young, I don't remember the exact age, but I remember him passing away.
Were you away at school by then? Or were you
No.
still home going to regular school?
No, I had moved, well, we lived downtown in the apartment building when he was there, and he passed away before we moved out to East London at the one across from McCormick's.
Right.
And that's where I got into finished the regular school, and to start high school there were a number of options, and they were trying to sell me on the fact that they were going to pretty well pay for the whole thing for me to go down to Brockville. And it
become
was
a priest.
basically a high school. Well, no, it was a high school working toward that.
Yeah.
And if you passed all that and got through the high school, then you could qualify to go to the seminary. That was the next step, but I didn't make it that far. Didn't make it that far.
Were your mom and dad disappointed that you didn't end up going to seminary and becoming a
Well, they
priest?
weren't tickled with it, but how much they could do. Yes, please.
Could we get some water, please? Pardon me? Could we get some water, please? Yeah, for sure. I'll be right back. Thank you. Water?
Thank you.
So they weren't happy
Yeah,
about
well,
you dropping out?
I think Dad had to contribute some money to the church to help pay for me down there. Not that much. The joke was that he was hoping, as Mom was. I don't think they were happy when I didn't go, the full limit. I
So
got
you
to
feel-
grade 11 and that was it. I said, I
So
don't
that's
think
my
that-
filling in of the story. That's the only part that I actually know of his story, which is he went to kind of that pre-seminary high school up until grade 12, right?
Sure.
And you
No.
dropped out and went to
Up to
regular
grade
school.
11, and then I came back to London
You went to regular school.
finish grade 12 at Catholic Central.
Yeah.
Graduated there, well, junior matriculation. And from there I went right to work. I wasn't about to go any further into school at that time. So,
I can't believe I never knew this stuff about your grandpa. Like, I totally did not know.
oh, it was cute because the room that he was in and the room that Mom and Dad was in had the partition that was about 2 feet from the ceiling. The rest of them were closed right in.
Yeah.
You could always hear him in there. Is that thing on? Oh. Well, that thing is loud. Can you turn it down? And he
So-
said, I can't go to the washroom while that thing's on.
Thank you.
So that was the joke. Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
So, did your mom and dad like live together, like same bedroom, same kitchen, same everything back then? And
Oh, yeah.
then at some point, so like, at what point did they like stop, kind of sharing exactly the same space all the time? Was it when they went to Clark Road?
Basically out in Clark Road. Yeah.
And how old were you when you went to Clark Road? Like, was it in high school? Like, when you were in Brockville?
Basically in Brockville, because the one across from McCormick's, that's when I changed from regular school to go to high school.
Right.
And when we were going to high school, the idea was I qualified to go down to Brockville. So I went right from regular school into Brockville. And let's see, 3 years there, and I think Mom and Dad moved out to Clark Side Road. Right after I came back, when I came back to go to Catholic Central,
Yeah, and that's when they sort of split up a bit.
that was the thing. Well,
Not
it
split
was a
up, split up.
convenience item. Yeah, all it was he made a heck of a lot of noise when he slept, and he couldn't stand it. So they had a long talk about it, I guess, and what he said, okay, I'll sleep downstairs on the day bed. And then he built himself a small bedroom
I
there.
remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
Behind where the piano was.
That's right. So he did some of the cooking down there for himself
I
and for
remember that.
everybody.
Yep.
And then on Saturdays specifically, he was in the kitchen from about 11 o'clock in the morning when they finished the bacon and eggs, or whatever the breakfast was. He started right into making spaghetti and meat sauce. He was a meat sauce expert.
He was, as he was a chili sauce expert. And I
Yeah.
remember him making
He loved
pickles.
doing
He loved canning, right? Like my biggest memories of him are canning in that kitchen.
Well, he did some canning, and a lot of it was chili sauce or some of the other.
Yeah.
He didn't do a lot of it. Let's say he did half and Mom did the other one type of thing, based on what they could get out of the garden. He had
Yeah.
a great big garden at the back. And
Yeah, I don't remember their backyard at all except for their 40th anniversary, 50th anniversary. Whatever the big anniversary party was in the backyard.
40th, yeah.
Was it their 40th?
yeah,
I remember
it was
that.
270 feet at the back. So they had all kinds of rooms to put gardens in there. Or
Medium to medium